Welcome back to Prof E Plays. I'm Prof E, and we are picking up with Shadowdark. Last session was eventful, not in the best of ways. We now have a three-character party rather than a four-character party, as our characters were forced to flee after one of their companions met his end. So that's where we are right now. Okay, so we have our characters. We have Sage, Godfrey, and Ishana. All of them are right now, they're outside of um, the tower that led to the death of their friend. And we are, in terms of time of day, let me double check my notes on that one. I want to say that we're just like mid-afternoon, right? Right, so next we will need to rest. It's going to be midday. We need to select a travel um, action at this point. Okay, so the way that um, the travel rules I'm using from Shadows of the Wild is set up, I was kind of confused last time because there's the whole make camp thing, and there's the whole thing about like if you don't if you don't make camp before you rest, then you fail. And I thought, what does that even mean? What it is, the make camp action, right, has a failure table, a mishap table, so that if you fail to make camp, then you roll a mishap table. So what it is if you decide you just want to try to rest immediately, then you have to roll on the mishap table to see if something happens. There's a basically a 6 in 10 chance of something happening, like losing a piece of gear or something like that. Right, so that kind of stuff is what could happen. So uh, our characters are in bad shape. Let's be perfectly honest. We know that one of them didn't make it through the last session. The other three are all injured. I mean, like right now we have Godfrey has 1 hit point remaining out of his five. Ishana has 1 hit point remaining out of his six, and his cure wounds is used. We have I, Sage, the one with 4 hit points, is the one that's looking best because he still has two of his four. It's bad. It's real bad. All right, so let's go ahead with our folks here. And I think it does make sense. They want to try to make camp and heal as best they can. Right, so I think that we're going to have to do the make camp roll then, so they don't automatically fail it. Okay, I will eventually get this stuff. So they're going to spend what time of day did I say it was? The midday or mid-afternoon or midday is what this is considered. So the midday time period, they're going to spend making camp. Right, so making camp, it cannot be combined with any other activity. It's a DC 12 int or wisdom check. So checking int and wisdom, so it would be best for Sage to do this with his intelligence, and Godfrey can help with intelligence. So it's a total of +3 on this roll. So let me go ahead and grab a d20 and we'll get rolling. Okay, so at a +3 here for our party. 14 plus 3 is 17. Yeah, I think I mentioned before, this camera is not the best. Right. Especially as I need to have it zoomed out enough so you can actually like see things sort of a little bit, maybe vaguely. But in any case, they did pass the make camp check, which then means that we can rest without any problems. Excellent. So, just to make some notes here, we are in session number 32, which that's hard to believe. Okay. So I'll make a note here, session 32. So midday, we make camp and put a check mark there, and then we hit evening, and in the evening is when we're going to rest. Although I do need to check for um, encounters. I believe it is each watch you have to check encounters, right? Yeah, yeah, so it's okay. So the GM declares the train type. So where they are right now, they're in the plains. They declared their activity of making camp. So I roll then for random encounters. So I think where they are right now probably would be considered unsafe. That makes the most sense to me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roll for unsafe. So I'm going to roll 2d6. Anything that comes up as a 1 indicates that there is an encounter. No ones, so no encounters while they're making camp. Good. So they do make camp, and therefore now can rest. But again, they're still in an unsafe area, so we are going to have to roll for encounters overnight. All right. So as they are resting, then, so evening is when they're going to rest. Let's see if we have any encounters here. The answer is no. Oh, thank goodness. I guess that easily could have gone differently. That easily could have gone differently. We've had things go differently quite a few times. So everyone is fully healed. Anybody that has spells gets those spells back, except for Sage, who has that one spell that he had a mind wound. He can't use magic missile for another 7 days. Right? Okay. So here we are. Right, cool. And cure wounds is back. Beautiful. So we are now at night. Because we have evening followed by night. I believe that's correct, yes. Oh, yes, and for them to be able to do heal, they have to consume rations. So they're each down one ration from where they were before. Shauna, you see now, thing is, I don't know that I want them to have to travel at night, but it is night. So they could, of course, make a campfire with 3 of their torches, um, and that would protect them from the dark. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's say they decide to make a campfire overnight. Right? People are going to rest as they can, but I'm going to burn 3 torches, like so, and those 3 torches then are going to be our fire, which I'm going to say makes it a less dangerous situation. Right. So you know what? Let me check this. I think there's guidelines for this. What happens in the dark? Okay. Light. I know. That's time. Oh, there we go. Light sources. Total darkness. When total darkness, a creature is not darkness. Okay. Also, the environment becomes deadly whenever you're in total darkness. We're not in total darkness, so I guess that would just mean that we get to maintain unsafe. So overnight, do we have any? Yes, we do have one encounter that happens overnight. So let's find out what that encounter is. So pull out my monster list, and we will find out what they encounter. Now, I think that I'm really trying to get the balance right, and I have utterly failed to get the balance right because it seems like every battle is either extremely easy, right, or I have people dying. I've not I've not found that midpoint of challenging, but not everybody dying. All right. Oh yes, random encounter. There's a random encounter table, of course. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll on that random encounter table. It's not necessarily a monster. 7 is what I rolled. 7 is an NPC. So let's go ahead and find out about this NPC, as I know nothing about who this NPC might possibly be. Fortunately, I do have, from the Sandbox Generator, a generator section that will allow me to generate an NPC, of all things. There it is. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the name first. I first want to get their occupation. Right, so occupation is a D100 roll. So who is it that's wandering out here in the middle of the night near this? dungeon that was formerly a wizard's tower, but currently is um, inhabited by bandits. It is a midwife, apparently. Interesting enough. All right, so let's find out what the midwife's name is. I'm going to combine a couple of these names here. Let's say Stacy Narissa. Narissa's not a bad name actually by itself. So let's go Narissa. All right, so Narissa is the midwife here. So let's find out a little bit about her and what she looks like, that kind of stuff. Right, so Marissa shows up, and her clothes are she's well groomed as far as that goes. Does she have any particularities that stand out? Now she has an eccentric hairstyle. I'd say her hair is like pulled up in a very elaborate like braid. That's what I imagine. Then personality wise, five, confident. Okay. So imagine she is striding through the uh, night very very confidently, as if like she doesn't particularly care about the fact that it's really dark and there are monsters about. That doesn't bother her whatsoever. So I'm also curious about some of the details of this encounter that might be able to be answered by some of the Shadowdark random encounter stuff. So let's see what I can find with that. All right, Shadowdark, tell me about this random encounter. We know who we're encountering. Tell us more about her. All right, so specifically, distance. Near. Okay. Right, so about 30 feet away, right, we hear the rustling, is what I'm imagining. And she comes out of the dark. Now, here's a good question for the Oracle. Does she have a light source with her? This seems probable. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll 2d20, take the higher of the two. 8. So the answer is actually no. No, so she's actually literally wandering in the dark. Now this is suddenly getting really suspicious. Okay. What is she doing out here? 4, she is hunting, right? So she must be hunting um something. We're in the plains, right? So she comes out of I don't know, the field or something like that. Emerges. I imagine probably saw our campfire. She's in the midst of hunting something. So I want to know what her reaction is to us. So the problem now is that we are not particularly charismatic. Ishan is the most charismatic. He gets a +2. Let's see. Her reaction to us is an 8, right? So she's suspicious of us, which makes sense. I mean, we are out here in the middle of the night, just kind of sitting around a campfire, having already rested. And um, so she comes out. She's definitely suspicious of us. I feel like, do we want to strike up a conversation with her? I mean, maybe. The question is, does she have skills we necessarily find useful? I don't know. Well, maybe she can give us some information. Right. So the question that I'm going to pose to her, and this is going to sound really weird, but like we're looking for somebody that has some fighting ability. Like, do you know somewhere nearby that we can find somebody like that? Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Let's find out. 17 is a yes. And so yes, right, she does have a good idea. Now, to me, the most obvious place that's not far away would be the castle Fire Rock, right? So just clarify kind of where things are here. We are currently here. Fire Rock Castle is this one right here. So it's like a 4 mile trip. So we can do that in just one uh, term. We just don't want to do it in the middle of the night. So especially because we're going to be wandering through the forest to get there. Right now we're in the plains. So they'd be wandering into the forest. I don't really want to do that. Right. So this is what we talk about. So we would really like if we could get somebody else to kind of round out our party. We had some unfortunate happenings here, not far away. So I think it's very nice if we could find somebody. And she says, "Well, I'm pretty sure that somebody at the castle, I'm sure, could possibly help you." And so I think that that's a good path, right, for us to go down. All right. So I think that that is how the night goes. Come morning, right, we put out our we put out our uh, campfire and we head out. And by the way, that means now we're down to just 6 days of not being able to cast Magic Missile for Sage. All right. Right, so they head toward that castle. Now, as they are traveling, right, we will spend a travel round heading there. Okay, and this travel round, it's the morning travel round. So night, I think again, it's just basically rest. I'm just going to put null there because we're not technically resting. We're already eaten everything. We're just waiting, right? So come morning, we're going to travel. So it's hike toward what was it? A8, I believe. Yeah, A8. Now we do have to make this move to make sure we actually get it. Okay, so that is wrong stuff. All right. So we are just going to be walking there. We can get there in one turn without any problem. So, in order to do this, we need somebody to lead the way and somebody to keep watch. So, keeping watch is a wisdom roll, leading the way is an intelligence roll. So, let's have Sage make the intelligence roll. Right. And these are things that I don't think people can help with. No. Okay. And then, so it's a wisdom roll and an intelligence roll. Well, I guess we're going to have Godfrey be the one that is keeping watch, while Sage is the one that is leading the way. So leading the way first, DC 12, he has a +2 on this. Easily done. Easily done. Okay. And then we have Godfrey as the one keeping watch. Again, a DC 12. Oh, awesome. That actually gives us another luck point. Right, so we're up to 2 luck now. That means our distance roll bonus is a 4. So if we have a random encounter here, then we're going to be able to see it from far away, almost certainly. Actually, I think it is certain. I think it's 5 or 6. It's far. Let's see. And we don't have any random encounters anyway, but that's okay. So we hike to A8, where we will arrive at Castle Fire Rock. Now, Castle Fire Rock was someplace we've seen before. Now, I admit my memory of it is fairly vague at this point because a lot has happened since then. But what we know about it is that it is ruled over by a lord by the name of Vakesh. Right, so Lord Vakesh is the one that oversees this. It's not in very good shape. It's actually kind of crumbling. So very very old castle. They do have a number of people in jail here. They do have a significant number of fighters, 140 fighters here of various qualities here. So the question is whether we can get them to actually provide us with a fighter or not. So I think that that is a sensible thing for us to do. Right, so I think we should ask. So can we persuade them, right, to allow us to uh, to lend us a fighter? Would be the question. And I think they're just going to be a standard. Okay, so it's charisma of +2 for Shauna. So Shauna's going to be the one doing the talking, right, and is going to try to convince them to yes, to allow us to borrow right one of their company. Right, so here we go. It's a DC 12, I'm going to say, and roll it. That's a fail. Right, so he's Lord Akash says, "No, why would I do this? After all, from what I can tell, it seems like you're missing a party member. I'm sure the Lord Bree will be very happy that one of his warriors has been lost in the fighting that you have been doing. So I think that that is an issue. Right, so I'm going to say that Lord Vakesh is not interested. Right, so we arrived at Castle Fire Rock. They will not help us. Right? That's just the reality at this point. So then we need to decide what else we're going to do. Now, it very well might be that if we travel, and we can do this, if we travel over to here, this is where Lord Bree's castle is, right? So it would be another, another travel round for us to get there. Oh, I'm going to say that it was midday was discussion with Lord Vakesh. Okay, and then we're going to be traveling through here, like through the forest, through the mountains, right through the plain. Oh no, we're not. We don't want to do that. The mountains would be hard to get through. So we're gonna go through the forest, the plains, and then here to Lord Bree's castle. It's true. One thing that's true is that we owe him money. Right, so we're going to have to give him those 18 gold. So that's one thing. Also, um, I think we're just going to kind of leave it at that. So I think that we're going to try to make our way over that direction. Let's go ahead and do that now. Right, so we are not hiking twice in a row because we stopped off for midday to have this discussion with Lord Vakesh. So I think that we can do another hike, right, that is going to last the evening, and that would get us all the way there. So going through the forest, through the plains, and then finally to Lord Bree's castle is the idea. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that up. So again, we need to lead the way and keep watch. So we're going to have leading the way will be Sage with our +2 to intelligence. And that's going to be a fail. So we wander, right? So as we hike and get lost. So we stay in A8. We also need to check to see how does keeping watch work? Very poorly, right? So keeping watch also failed. So now we're looking at nighttime. Uh, we could hike through the night, but I don't think that's ideal. We also have the problem now that we. Oh, wait. I forgot. Now I think we're in a relatively safe area, so let's just do one check for random encounter. The answer is no. All right. So we have a problem in that now it is nighttime. We are still wandering around. So we can make camp. Well, it's getting dark, or we could try to like waltz our way through the dark using torches. We don't have very many torches left. We have between us one torch, and then we do have a light spell, right, that Ishana could use. Because I did not think to buy torches when we stopped. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, I guess we're gonna make camp, and it's just gonna be dark. So we're gonna have serious problems when we get attacked tonight. This might be the end of this series. All right. Well, I mean, okay, so let's go ahead and make camp here now that it's nighttime. All right, so the early phase of nighttime, we are starting to make camp. Making camp, remember, we can do it at +3 because everybody in the party can be involved with that. Right, so a 12 or more is what we're looking for to pass this. We passed it. Good. 15 plus 12 plus 3 would be 18, easily over 12. So then we can take some time to rest. So first we make camp, we do so successfully, and then uh I guess it would technically be morning is when we rest. I mean, we could just make camp and then not rest, I suppose. That's true. Okay, so we make camp, we relax. We may not necessarily do an official rest because we don't really need it. But then we do have the problem that it is technically deadly right now. And deadly indicates, oh gosh, six. Six encounter checks per travel round. All right. So I've got my 6d6 here. Let's find out how many encounters we're going to have over the night as we make camp and are just resting. Hilariously, not a 1. So this one's a letter die 6. 5, 4, 2, 2, 6. We got real lucky there. Then morning comes. Wonderful. And we can try this hike again. All right, so let's go ahead and try this hike. All right. Again, DC 12, we're at a +2, and fail. So again, fail, end up back at A8. How about keeping watch? Keeping watch failed as well. All right. Now, because it's daytime though, right, we're in a fairly safe area. Just check, see. Oh, we do have an encounter now. Okay. What kind of encounter do we have? 9. Well, let's check that random encounter table. I'm curious, what is 9? 9 would be biome based. Okay. Okay, so this would be just rolling from the monster table. All right, so rolling from the monster table is something that would be appropriate for us here in the plains, I believe is where we are still. No, we're in the forest. We're in the forest. All right, so I will roll on the monster table, and if it's something that is a forest dwelling creature, then we will go with that. All right. All right, so let's roll for it. It's 1 through 52. If I get over 38, okay. 38 would be a reaver. Would a reaver be in a forest? Maybe. Maybe. Let me pull out my monster manual, right? It's not really a monster manual. It's just my monster section from the quick start. Okay, so reaver. Reaver, Reaver, Reaver. R is before S, isn't it? Yes, it's a knight in blackened armor riddled with cruel barbs. Would that be in the forest? Possibly yes. So yeah, let's go with it. It's a level 6 creature, which total between us, we do have 6 levels. So we have a chance, I guess, would be the idea. Um, now, our keeping watch failed, which means then how far are they? 3 should be near. So they actually get pretty close to us before we notice them. But yeah, that would definitely be near. Okay, so the question then is what is the reaction to us? It's a knight in blackened armor. It does say it's a chaotic alignment, so it's almost certainly going to be hostile. So I'm going to go ahead. Do I? We're not going to roll reaction. I think that it is actually going to be hostile, and we'll just leave it at that. Right? So this Reaver is here. It is interested in attacking us because it's not a good guy. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and roll. Blue is, I guess, kind of this blue pink die. That is him. White is us. And oh, he got a 1 versus our 3. Well, okay. What do we add to it? He adds nothing. We had something more than nothing. Yeah, we had 2, I believe. Yeah. So we definitely act first. All right. So where's the Reaver? Let's pull out something to act as the Reaver. There we go. There's my Reaver. I mean, I guess I could pull out one of my minis, like one of these guys or something, but nah. Let's just do him. Okay. All right. So we have a Reaver here. So encounter a Reaver. All right, and what are we going to do about this Reaver, friends? Well, in terms of fighting stuff, okay, what does protection from evil do? That might possibly be something that would be useful to us. Okay, so protection from evil as a spell for the spell's duration, chaotic beings have disadvantage on attack rolls and hostile spell casting checks against the target. These beings also can't possess, compel, or beguile it. Okay, when cast on an already possessed target, the possessing entity makes a charisma check versus this last spellcasting check. On a failure, the entity is expelled. So this sounds like it might be a good idea. Right, so the protection from evil is something that Yashana can do. It's a focused spell, right? So focus means that I think every turn he has to renew that. if I recall. Yeah, so some spell lasts as long as you focus. You can't cast other focus spells while focusing. You can end a focus spell anytime. Here we go. Maintain focus. Make a spell casting check at the start of your turn as if you were casting that spell. Okay. So as long as it goes off the first time, then you're okay. All right. So I think that makes sense. So who is he going to protect? Well, who has the lowest AC? It doesn't actually make a whole lot of difference, right? So I think that he's going to cast this uh, probably on himself, honestly, right? So yeah, yeah, he's neutrally aligned. So let's go ahead and do that. So Ishana decides he's going to cast his protection from evil spell. This is a DC 11. He has a -1 on this. 15. 15 is good enough. Right, so he is now protected from evil. So that is now active for him. Then, what is Sage going to do? Sage, I think, makes sense. He's going to do Mage Armor. So Mage Armor here, range of self, to make his AC 14. So he's going to try that. This is at a +3 DC 11. He also has advantage on it. Well, it already passed, so that's fine. Right, so he then has his Mage Armor active, which means he now has AC of 14. Awesome. And then, oh, I guess technically I can check for advantage here. Okay. Because if it was critical, if it was a critical success, that'd be 18 instead, which would be nice. Okay. And then finally, what is Godfrey going to do? Um, I guess the question is, can Godfrey put himself in a position to backstab? Maybe, maybe not. Uh, so I think it makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and give him a sneaking roll here. I think it's going to be hard because it is, after all, morning, plenty of daylight. We are in the plains, right? So he's really hoping for distraction to work to his advantage. So he's going to be rolling here, technically with advantage, but I think I'm going to up the diff a little bit. So it's a diff of 15. He passes. Dex +2, that 16 turns into an 18. Yep. So, meanwhile, as these two guys are gearing up, Ishana is sneaking, or not Ishana, Godfrey's sneaking around the back, getting ready to backstab. Now, what does the Reaver do? The Reaver sensibly is going to try to attack somebody. Uh, one of those people has now vanished. It's so he's going to attack one of the remaining two. Which of the two is it going to be? I don't know. So let's just go 1, 2, 3. It's Sage. 4, 5, 6. Nope, 6. It's going to be Ishana. So he is heading over toward Ishana and is going to attack him with his sword. All right. And Godfrey is tracking him at this point. All right. So this is at a +4. Now he is rolling with disadvantage on this, though. Okay, with disadvantage, 5 + 4 is not enough. Right, so he misses that one. Okay, cool. And he gets 3 attacks though. So the first attack misses, second attack, it's 3 attacks. And what else? Oh, that one's a hit. Yeah, that's definitely a hit. Okay. Well, I mean, you can't win them all, I suppose. Right, so he does manage to hit here. His damage is a D8 +2. That would be 8 points of damage against Ishana, which would take him out. So Ishana now is going to be making death saves. Where's my d4s? Oh, goodness. As I said, this may be the end of our party. Okay. There we go. So he has. That's a 2. So he has 3 rounds. Try not to die. The protection from evil obviously has fallen apart. Yes, he is dying. Yeah, he's definitely unconscious at this point. And he's also the healer, which that's always fantastic when that happens to your healer. Now, our Reaver does have one more hit that he can make. I think it makes sense to me that he is close enough. Actually, no, he's probably not. Probably not close enough. Okay, so we'll flip over to our party. Okay, we'll just go through one by one through them. Sean is going to make his death save, see if he actually survives. Not yet, anyway. Right, so that counter goes down to a 2. Now I want to do Godfrey. Godfrey gets a backstab chance. It's this backstab means that he gets an extra die of damage plus another half of his levels. So he would get 2 extra dice of damage if he can manage this. So it's going to be a dagger to the guy's back, is what we're hoping for here. Right, so let's go ahead and roll this one. Now I don't think backstab. Backstab does not count as one of the things that he has advantage on. All right, so let's go ahead and do this backstabby stab. It's at a +2, looks like. That was a 1. And so he just lost his sneaking. Wait. No, no. We have a luck token. Let's re-roll that. We have another luck token. Let's re-roll that. All right, there we go. I knew it would happen eventually. And AC of 17, he rolls a 16 plus 2. So we're good. All right. I'm not sure why he has +2. I don't see where that would have. Oh, because dagger's a finesse weapon. Okay, that's it. So then he does manage to get through the guy's armor, and we therefore get to roll 3 dice of damage. D4s. Rolling those, that is a total of, oh, that's nice. 7, 8, 9, 10 points of damage against the Reaver. All right, so the Reaver is down to 18. All right, meanwhile, Sage, I think, is going to be trying to stabilize. He's going to come over here and try to stabilize Ishana. It's a DC 15 intelligence roll. Let's do this one. So here we go. And that's a fail. Okay. Right, so we're still in trouble. Okay, so the Reaver now, having almost, actually, no, he actually was backstabbed, having actually been backstabbed, is in pain and is very aware of what Godfrey is doing. So Godfrey managed to do some significant damage, but not enough to take him out, which is probably bad for Godfrey, it turns out. All right, so let's go ahead and check this. So he's going to go ahead and take, he gets 3 swings. Let's find out how many of them hit, I guess. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay, this is at a +4, and he's rolling against a 12, right? So we've got 2 of them are going to hit. All right, so the first swing. So, I mean, this is one of those things where, like, if he takes Godfrey out, then he can turn and try to take Sage out after that. So he's going to go ahead and take Godfrey out, potentially, at a D. So what is it? It's a D8 +2. Oh, this is bad. Oh, well, not as bad as it could have been. Right, so Godfrey is down to 1 hit point. But then the second comes through. It takes him out. Okay, so Godfrey now is down at 0 hit points. And what is he going to do in terms of con saves? He gets 3. 3 turns till he's dead. Wait, no. 3 turns till he's dead. So Godfrey's out. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, here's the thing. Sage, we know, is a halfling. So he can turn invisible. I think he's going to take advantage of that right now. Because what he is doing stuff, but it's going to be relatively inconspicuous. So I think that he is going to use this time to try to save his friends. He gets 3 rounds. That's how long it's going to take for us to find out whether Godfrey is alive or dead, right? The Reaver, in the meantime, as far as he's concerned, right, somebody just vanished, right? But I don't, there's not really anything he can do about that. So I suspect, is the Reaver just going to consider this done and leave, or is he going to hang around? That's really the question. So is he going to, I don't know. Answer is yes. He is going to leave. So the Reaver leaves on his turn. So we don't have to worry about him anymore. So now it's just a matter of can Sage save the rest of his party in this time that we have? right? So I think it makes sense. Okay, so we are here now. First, death save from each of them. Remember, 20 will do it. Neither of them recover on their own. All right. And then we have Sage trying desperately, desperately, desperately. Um, and intelligence, that's a 13. That's going to be a fail. All right. So that's one round. The next round, I'm going to let Sage go first to see if he can save Godfrey. No, not Godfrey, Ishana. 13 plus 2 is a 15. Yes, he can. So he has stabilized Ishana. Meanwhile, does Godfrey save himself? The answer is still a no. Now, Sage comes over here. Can Sage save Ishana? Yes. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, this is miserable. Okay. Right. So, I mean, that's where we are right now, is that these folks are, well, they've been stabilized. Now, just I'm trying to remember whether stabilization means they awake or not. Okay. Stabilize. They stop dying, but they're still unconscious. Okay. So, they're still unconscious. Fortunately, the Reaver has wandered off. So the question is, what is it that Sage is going to do at this point? I mean, sensibly, we need to make camp and then rest. Those are the things we really need to do. Um, do we have rations for everybody to eat? One, two, we have at least two rations in our party, so that's enough for them to eat and recover. So I think then Sage is just going to make camp. I mean, it's midday. Sage is going to make camp. See if he does so successfully. He has a +2 on this. We need a 12. He fails. Which, hey, that means we get to roll on a mishap table. I always love a mishap table. 6 indicates some of your food is eaten by insects or carried out by animals. Each party member loses one ration. No, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. That's bad. Sage only had one ration to start with. Same was true of Ishana. Goodbye, Ishana's ration. And Godfrey had two rations, so he's down to one. Oh, so now I have to make the choice. We're in evening now. Should I have them rest and Godfrey can recover? Well, evening is not night. Now, do you need to make? I think you can probably make camp and then forage. I don't think that would be cheating or anything like that, right? Okay. Make camp can be formed by multiple. Okay, wait, wait. If the characters do not elect to make camp before resting, I think it makes sense though that they could make camp and then forage. I think it's probably okay. All right. So where we are right now, we are in the plains. So this would be a grassland, so I can forage, I can hunt, I can fish. I mean, foraging, and they're all equally difficult. None of them are particularly easy. So I think it makes sense here. We're going to forage. The DC 12, he has Sage is the only one that's up, right? So he's going to go do that. So he's going to try to forage. So Sage is going to forage. It is an intelligence check, a +2, and it's a fail. All right. Well, if you fail, you get to roll on the appropriate mishap table. Well, okay. What happens? 9. You encounter a wolf, bear, or other wild animal. Roll reaction. Okay, well, Sage, by himself, right, encounters a wolf, bear, or other wild animal. Oh, goodness. Okay. Reaction is a 7, -1, 6. It's hostile. All right. I think I'm gonna go with a wolf. Yeah, wolf is only level 2. I think a bear is worse. So yeah, so Sage, leaving his party behind, right, now encounters a wolf. A wolf. I'm just gonna use the redhead. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this so this could be the last session, very possibly. So let's go ahead and check this one. So white is Sage, blue is the wolf. Yeah, the wolf definitely gets to go first, and the wolf is definitely going to attack him. Only gets one attack, so he runs up and he's going to attack. This is a bite at a +2. It's a 7, which is a miss. Okay. Now, I think it has been long enough now that Sage's mage armor is no longer active. I know that seems obvious at this point, because it's only active for 10 rounds, so it'd be like a minute. So he's spent some time trying to forage, failing, failing to forage, but he's really spent time trying to do that. Okay. Right, so then what am I going to do? I mean, sleep. I think sleep works on a level 2, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Level 2 or less. Okay, so I think that is what Sage is going to try to do. Sage is going to try to cast sleep on him. He gets a +3. It's a DC 11, and that is a mishap. Sage is going to die by wizard mishap. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, let's try this. Now, where's the mishap table? There it is. DC 12. Not DC 12. It's a D12. What happens? 10. The horror. You scream uncontrollably for 3 rounds in Primordial, drawing lots of attention. Well, I mean, as long as I can keep fighting during that, this might be okay. This might be okay. Right. So he is definitely screaming, and he cannot cast sleep again. But that's where we are. Okay. The wolf attacks him, and the wolf. That's a critical hit. Although I don't know that critical hits really mean much in combat in this system. At least I don't recall them meaning much. It might be an extra die of damage, actually. Let me double check that. Critical hit. If you deal a critical hit for what? Yeah, double its damage dice. Okay. So yeah, twice as many dice. All right. So the wolf then is going to. He obviously gets a hit and is going to roll 2d6. It is possible. It is possible that Sage may survive this, but not when one of them is a 5. Yeah. Okay. So Sage is knocked down to 0. The wolf runs off, or perhaps eats him. I don't know. Let's find out what kind of gruesome end he comes to. Well, he only gets one chance to try to save himself, and he does not. Well, and that's the end. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is a long one. This is a long one, but all right. Um, so Sage and company meet a rather terrible end outside of Lord Lakesh's castle, um, where Sage and ends up devoured by a wolf. And it's perfectly reasonable to me to believe that the wolf takes advantage of the fact that Ishana and Godfrey are in a severely weakened state. Um, the wolf eats well that day. Thank you for watching. So I'm not sure what's going to come up after this. I think I'm probably going to back over to Dungeon Crawl Classics for a little bit, maybe. I think maybe that might be what I want to do. So for the fantasy line that I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking he'll probably do. In any case, thank you, and this is Profi signing off.